Today we're uncovering the scariest and most mysterious secrets hidden in Mario games, ranging from mysterious crashed UFOs to secret Goop Mario enemies. But let's begin with Boo's Boneyard Galaxy. It's an unsettling place from the start. The lone planet is inhabited only by the spooky Speedster, a ghostly figure with an eerie vibe. While he also races Mario in Ghostly Galaxy, this race feels different. You're deep inside a skull-shaped structure, completely isolated. And at the race's end, things get even creepier when you find piles of bones identical to Mario's skeleton model from his electrocution animation. This has led some to speculate, is the spooky Speedster a murderer hiding his victims in this isolated galaxy? Was Mario at risk of becoming his next trophy if he lost the race? Whatever the truth, there's something deeply unsettling about this ghostly racer. Detective Bits here, let's get right into business, because we have a bunch of unsolved cases to get through, and they'll get more mysterious and creepy as we go on. So keep on watching as we try and answer some of the most unanswered questions. Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story, might seem like a typical quirky Mario RPG, but hidden beneath the surface lies something far more mysterious. Because when people began to dig in this game's code, they found some really odd unused files. Specifically, this room with a single blue pipe in the center. What really stands out though is the music that plays here, which you're hearing now. It's haunting, almost uncanny, and sets an eerie tone. And if you try to enter this pipe, then you won't be able to see anything, as both of the DS screens will go completely black, leaving you with nothing but this unsettling tune. Clearly this was cut out sometime in development, but no one knows where this pipe would have led to. And the specific music that plays here gives a much more unsettling tone to this mystery. But that's only the surface, because now we have an entire level that's completely shrouded in mystery. This comes from The Art of Super Mario Odyssey. It's a book packed with sketches, concept art, and developer insights. But on the Seaside Kingdom page, there's one image that really stands out. A concept for a horror-themed version of the kingdom. It featured a ghostly pirate ship with a realistic ghost boss and an eerie underwater section with a giant shark to avoid. Plus, treasure chests that could trap players. While this spooky theme was scrapped, remnants of it remain in the final game, like the cave sections and the creepy eel areas. Originally, the design was meant to contrast the cheerful beach resort on the surface. But why was this entire horror concept cut? Was it simply a creative shift? Or did Nintendo make it too dark for a family-friendly Mario game? Before diving into the creepier mysteries, like an evil Goop Mario hidden in Mario Sunshine, let's explore a few less terrifying ones first. So subscribe now, or the evil Goop Mario will follow you home. Here we have a very tiny, mysterious detail that I'd say most players don't even notice on their first playthrough of Mario 64. When you first enter Jolly Roger Bay, the level has this eerie atmosphere with thick fog surrounding the area and a dark, gloomy sky. But once you grab the first star and go back into the level, the fog disappears and the sky brightens. What's strange though is that no matter how many times you revisit the first star, the fog and dark sky will never return. Unlike other levels, where the environment changes slightly based on the mission, this is the only instance in any Mario game where you can't revert back the level to the original state. Some people think that the levels in Mario 64 were originally supposed to change more from star to star, but this feature was eventually scrapped, except for Jolly Roger Bay, which may have been accidentally left in. But this is just speculation, as why the sky changes and the fog clears as a result of clearing the first star specifically is still unknown, making this mystery truly a strange detail. Indeed it is, but now let's shift gears to a game a lot more unsettling. Well, for a Nintendo game that is. We're talking about Luigi's Mansion. When fans began to dive into the game's files, they uncovered something truly strange. Something never seen before in the actual game. It was an image of a ghostly white hand. What makes this discovery even more peculiar is that this hand never appears in the game itself. it's completely unused, tucked away in the game's files. Naturally, this sparked all sorts of theories and speculations of what this hand could have been intended for. It seems almost as if it's reaching up at you, which only adds to the mystery. Could it have been a scrapped enemy or boss that was supposed to rise from under the floorboards to grab Luigi? Maybe it was meant to be part of an intense jump scare moment. The truth, however, remains unknown, as there's no official explanation for this hand's existence at all. How strange, wouldn't you say? But this next mystery might just be even more bizarre. In Melty Molten Galaxy, there's an unusual, out-of-place sight. A crashed UFO stuck in the lava planet. You pass it in both the Sinking Lava Spire mission and the Meteor Storm mission too, so it's clear that the developers wanted you to notice it. The UFO is also detailed with burning and rust effects, adding to its mysterious, weathered look. While there are some UFOs in Mario Galaxy, this one stands out due to its complete lack of a backstory. It's implied that the top men control the UFOs, given that their leader moves in a similar fashion, and you even battle him on a UFO. However, this particular galaxy doesn't feature any top men enemies, unlike the other galaxies where both UFOs and top men appear together. So what really happened to the crew of this UFO? Did they get lost in this vast galaxy? Or maybe they met a more tragic fate in the lava they crashed in? Or could this UFO belong to an entirely different alien species in the Mario universe? Perhaps it's connected to the creepy dark figures that watch you in Galaxy 2. I mean, they were in a lava-based level as well. Or maybe it's from an unknown alien species we've yet to encounter in the Mario universe. Sadly though, the truth remains a mystery, as no further information is revealed about this strange UFO. Now, when Yoshi appeared in Mario Sunshine, he was a lot more different than in all the other Mario games. For one, you could only use him for a limited amount of time before he would disappear. He can barf up juice, and the biggest change of all, he disintegrates when touching water. These strange traits don't really fit with the Yoshi we know from the other games. And as a result, fans have speculated that this might have not even been the same Yoshi. One theory is that Yoshi could be a creation of Bowser Jr., made with his magic paintbrush. Maybe Bowser Jr. wanted to mess with Mario by creating a flawed, weaker version of Yoshi that dies easily, essentially making Mario's quest harder. The way Sunshine introduces Yoshi is pretty unusual too. Bowser Jr. is seen carrying him, and the player has to rescue Yoshi from Jr., which unlocks him. Then Yoshi just randomly appears throughout the game's levels, which is odd, since in other Mario games, he only appears in environments that fit his natural habitat. So could it be that Bowser Jr. was placing fake Yoshis all around Isle Delfino as some sort of strange plot? Considering all the bizarre creations that Jr. makes with his paintbrush throughout the game, this theory doesn't feel too far out there. However, there's no hard evidence to support this idea, which leaves the true reason for Yoshi's strange behavior in Sunshine as one big mystery. But now let's take a look at Peach's castle from Mario 64, as it holds many small details and secrets. But there is one particular sign that has stumped players, as no one has been able to figure out its meaning. It's on the second floor and simply reads, "Shh, please walk quietly in the hallway." At first glance, this seems like a normal, harmless sign, but there's something odd about it that doesn't quite add up. Mario 64 was the first 3D Mario game, and many of the game's signs were used to guide players, offering tips on controls or objectives. So it's weird that this sign doesn't provide any useful information, making it seem pointless. Another strange detail is that this sign is not even in a hallway, so why would it be here? And looking at the rest of the hallways in the castle, they all have an eerie or unsettling vibe. The main hallway on the first floor has a boo that appears after you collect a few stars, players. The hallway with the Peach picture turns into Bowser with a trapdoor, and the flooded basement hallways have a strange, uncomfortable atmosphere. So could this sign be hinting at some monster that players needed to hide from in early versions of the game? Well, we may never know, as all we have to go off of is this out-of-place sign, adding another layer of mystery to Peach's castle. Now let's look at something that may seem innocent on the surface, but if you look closer, it has a much more darker tone. The sling pods in Mario Galaxy. They're a unique mechanic that allows Mario to launch himself across platforms to navigate the terrain of Space Junk Galaxy. However, there might be a much more darker undertone to these sling pods that has left players unsettled. For one, their sound design is strangely eerie. Listen closely. Many players have pointed out that the sound the sling pods make when pulled back fully resembles a whining or screaming noise. This alone gives an unsettling vibe, but it gets even darker when you consider the overall theme of this galaxy. It mostly features spider-like enemies, and the sling pods themselves bear a resemblance to spider nests, specifically the cocoons where baby spiders live. So when Mario uses the sling pods, is he actually yanking on spider nest, causing the baby spiders inside to cry in agony as they're violently pulled? It's an unsettling thought, especially when combined with the fact that the sound effect is unique to these pods. Even when Mario Galaxy frequently reuses sound effects for various objects and actions, except for these pods. So until we uncover the true nature of these, this bizarre mystery remains unsolved. Now let's dive deep into the code of Mario Sunshine, because here you'll find something unusual. Hidden away in the game's files is an unused feature for a perpetually covered Goop Mario. In this state, Mario would be completely coated in goop, and there is no way to clean it off. Swimming in water or any other method wouldn't help at all. But here's where things get even stranger. If you remove the goop texture, then you'll see that Mario looks a lot different, as his usual texture is replaced with a bizarre black and white pattern, adding to the oddity of this unused feature. What makes this even more intriguing is the discovery of an unused goop texture within the files. Unlike the other goop patterns, which are abstract, this one features strange, eerie designs that almost resemble hidden faces within the goop itself. This mysterious texture adds a creepy, unsettling vibe to this whole idea. There's speculation that this Goop Mario could have been a part of an enemy concept. Perhaps, much like Shadow Mario, this goop-covered version of Mario was intended to be an evil counterpart, emerging from the goop itself to attack players. Many enemies in this game, after all, are created from the goop, so this could have been a unique enemy type in that same design. But of course, all this remains speculative. The actual purpose of goop-covered Mario and the mysterious goop texture is still never explained. Mario 64 is filled with mysterious levels, and while I've delved into a bunch of them before, one of them that deserves a bit more attention is Big Boo's haunt. Particularly the eerie mansion where this level takes place. There are numerous unanswered questions about this location, starting with one of the biggest mysteries: who owns the mansion? The obvious answer might seem like Big Boo, the boss you face at the top of the mansion. But then we have King Boo, who is often regarded as the leader of the Boos. So does that mean Big Boo is just like a caretaker? Or was the mansion once owned by someone else entirely? Maybe the original owner passed away, leaving the mansion abandoned before the Boos moved in. Well, the game never gives us an answer, and that's led to a lot of speculation. Adding to the mystery, the mansion itself has a very supernatural vibe. Inanimate objects come to life and attack Mario, with the most notorious examples being the books and the terrifying killer piano, both of which have sharp teeth. Then there's the creepy basement carousel. What is going on here? It almost feels like this is where the boos are coming from, as if the basement is the spawning ground for these spirits. Perhaps the boos slowly infiltrated the mansion and took it over from the original owner. After all, there's a direct route from the basement to the mansion itself, suggesting a deeper connection. Even the way you enter this level raises more questions. It's the only area in the game that isn't directly connected to Peach's castle. Instead, it's accessed via a boo wandering around the courtyard, which makes you wonder, what is this place really? Is it a nightmare Mario is having, or is it truly a part of the Mushroom Kingdom? Here, the line between reality and dream begins to blur, making Big Boo's haunt one of the most mysterious and unsettling areas in Mario 64. And now we come to a grand mystery, one that's not exclusive to a specific Mario game, but it's a mystery that spans the entire Mario series. The Mario universe has always had a focus on castles, royalty, and grand kingdoms. Princess Peach, for example, is the ruler of the Mushroom Kingdom, but despite her role, many details about her royal life remain unknown, especially when it comes to her family. We all know about Princess Peach, but that's where the story ends. There's no mention of any other princes, princesses, or even her parents. It's especially odd when you consider that Peach's castle is constantly referred to as, well, Peach's castle, so she's presented as the kingdom's ruler. However, there is never any mention of a king or queen. Peach seems to stand alone, with no indication of a royal family behind her. This has led many fans to speculate about the fate of her parents. One theory suggests that Bowser may have killed them when he first began his attempts to take over the Mushroom Kingdom. If that's true, it would explain why Peach is the only royal figure remaining. She might have inherited the throne after a tragedy, with Bowser's constant attacks leaving her isolated in her role as the sole ruler. Another theory proposes that Peach might not even be from the Mushroom Kingdom, since you'll see that almost everyone in her castle is a toad, while Peach herself is human. Could it be that Peach came from a different kingdom, a human kingdom? Perhaps she fled to the Mushroom Kingdom and was accepted by the Toads as their leader, ruling over them in the absence of a proper monarch. What's even stranger is that despite Peach's royal status, it's always Mario, not her family, who comes to her rescue when she's captured by Bowser. This raises even more questions. Why hasn't anyone else in her family stepped in to help? Why does Mario, some random plumber, always have to be the one to save the day? Peach's backstory is one of the biggest mysteries in the Mario universe, and the more you think of it, the more questions arise, leaving people to perhaps wonder if there is a dark secret behind her royal bloodline.